You are welcome to Gospel Vibes Gospel Channel.
If you see that God engaged Satan so intimately in that meeting, the reason was because Satan was needed there. Satan was one of the entities that were summoned for that meeting. The moment Satan arrived, the Lord abandoned the other sons of God that were there, bringing reports from various places in the universe, and began to attend to Satan. This is what God said to Satan. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence cometh thou? It's like, hey, how far? You know, those days when we left the university, and we were like 2 years post-university, you will know that, okay, these guys are finished with service. So the question you ask when you see your colleague on the street is, how far? The meaning of how far is, do you have a job? Or you are still jobless on the street? So, because of the how far question, a lot of people stop walking on the streets so that they will avoid a situation where they are confronted with what? How far? Now, when God saw Satan, God said, how far? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. Earlier we said that Satan, it is prophetic that Satan will visit you. So when God asked Satan, how far? Satan said, I've been going to and fro the earth. That means if Satan has been going to and fro the earth, there was a time he saw your compound. Satan didn't say, I sent a demon to go to. I personally have been doing the rounds, going to and fro. So I know your compound. I know the name of your husband. I know his grandfather. I used to do that oscillatory motion in the days of your husband's father's father. And I've been walking up and down in the earth. To and fro, up and down. To and fro means from end to end. Up and down means I don't rest. When you labor in the night, you go to rest. Satan goes up and down. Meanwhile, in the economy of rest, which is one of the portions of spirit beings rest. It is only demonic beings that have no allocation of rest. So Satan has been doing 24 hours, 7 days a week surveillance, and he passed through your compound. Please help me enlighten your neighbor. He passed through your compound. The next thing that God did was to draw his attention to his chieftain in the earth. Verse 8, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man? Can you see those qualities? That's what endeared God to the man. And they were fourfold. He was perfect, he was upright, one that feared God, and one that what? Eschewed evil. Have you seen him? This guy is living without your products. He's surviving without the things you market. He has found out to live and operate. He only has interactions with me, and he is in the earth. He doesn't drink of your commodity. He doesn't partake of your wine. He doesn't partake of your pleasantries. This guy just lives for me. So it was God himself that made an advertisement of Job to Satan. But it will surprise you to know that when God began to speak about Satan, Satan did not need to go check his file to bring Job's details. His intelligence was on his fingertips. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for naught? Is Job in your service for nothing? You have created incentives for him to want to serve you. Is it not the incentives that are encouragements for Job to continue in his way of uprightness? Next verse, does Job serve you for naught? He said, hast thou not made a hedge? It was Satan himself that said, God has developed a facility around Job called a hedge. This was not God's saying, this is Satan's saying. And according to Satan, the effectiveness and the implication of the hedge was in 3 dimensions. Can you help me count? Hast thou not made an hedge about him? That means there was a hedge about Job. Hast thou not made a hedge about his wife? Then the second hedge is about his what? Household. First one is about him. Second one is about what? Household. And then the third one is about what? All that he has. A hedge about him, a hedge about his house, and a hedge about all that he had on every side. That is, are you there? Are you there? The spiritual covering that you access when you prioritize a life of moral rectitude, uprightness, and holiness. This is the shape of it. And it will interest you to know that this is not the last. This is not the last of spiritual covering. This is just one among many covering substructures that God puts around the life of a man. This one that we are studying this evening is a product of righteous living and aligning to kingdom principles. Spiritual nature of this covering is the hedge dimension. And the hedge dimension, just like we have said, is in threefold. There's one that covers you. There is another one that covers your household. So it means that your work of righteousness has implications on your household. Do you know that the life of a pastor can influence the congregation that he pastors? If that rectitude is not in place, everyone that claims to be drawing spiritual virtue from that grace is endangered. And maybe many of you are not aware of how vicious Satan is, how wicked Satan is. And in a situation where a householder, maybe a family head, a ministry head, a business head, a national head, is not operating by these principles of moral rectitude and righteousness and the fear of God, the entire people under his watch are exposed to the activities of darkness. So you can now understand our situation as a nation. So Satan confessed that there was a threefold hedge that was around the life of Job. A hedge around him, a hedge around his house, and a hedge around all that he has on every side. It is something I want to reveal this night. Just one point I want to reveal. There are so many points, and we'll pick them one by one, strand by strand, and expound upon them. But there is just one point I want to raise this night. Next verse. Satan now recommends to God and says, put forth thy hand now and touch all that he had, and he will cause thee to thy face. How many of you can relate with the recommendation that Satan just put forward? Which of the hedges does he affect? Is it hedge number one? Because hedge number one is the hedge that covers the life of Job. Hedge number two is the hedge that covers Job's household. Hedge number three is the hedge that covers Job's property. Tell me, which hedge is Satan saying, let us remove this hedge and see? I guess you are presenting Job to me as one that is a man of uprightness and moral rectitude. My position about Job's commitment is that Job's commitment is occasioned by several good things that you have afforded him. But put forth now thy hand and touch all he had. That means hedge number three. Remove hedge number three. And when you remove hedge number three and I can access the things that he has, then we'll be able to test whether his commitment is pure. So most of the time, if God is bragging on you, the first symptom that you are going to see is the removal of hedge number three. And that will prove where your loyalty lies.